All right, guys, so today I'm going to go over the 3 homework questions you had last week, and we're going to go over some notes for today. All right, so question 1 from the homework. What is meant by disjoint or mutually exclusive events? Give an example of 2 disjoint events. Okay, this means events that cannot happen at the same time. Okay, an example of this would be being both an even and an odd number. Okay, number 2, which of the following pairs of events are disjoint, meaning they are mutually exclusive, they cannot happen at the same time? Let's see. A. So event A represents odd numbers, event B, the number 5. Well, is the number 5 an odd number? Yes, so that can happen. So that would not be disjoint. The even numbers would be event A, event B, the numbers greater than 10. Are there even numbers greater than 10? Yes. 12 is an even number greater than 10. That works. C, event A, the numbers less than 5. Event B, all negative numbers. Well, is negative 1 less than 5? Yes, those 2 can happen at the same time. D, event A, the numbers above 100. Okay. Event B, the numbers less than negative 200. Those cannot happen at the same time. So that would be your disjoint events. And then the last one, let's check it out just to see what's going on here. Event A, negative numbers. Event B, odd numbers. Can you have negative odd numbers? Can you have -1, -3? Yes, that works. So that is not disjoint. Okay, number 3 says to define and give an example of 2 complementary events. Okay, complementary events are opposites. Example would be the chance of rain and the chance of no rain. Okay, so you only had to do questions 1, 2, 3, and then 6 on the back. Okay. Hold on. Question 6 says, of 400 college students, 120 are enrolled in math, 220 are enrolled in English, and 55 are enrolled in both. If a student is selected at random, find the probability that, so we're looking at A, B, and C to find those probabilities. So what you're going to have to do is draw a Venn diagram here. So let's go ahead and make a Venn diagram with this. So we have two circles that overlap because we have two events. And let's make a box around those. Please don't judge my artistic abilities. Okay, so whenever you're doing Venn diagrams, you always want to start with this overlapping section, what the events have in common. So on this question, it says that 55 are enrolled in both. So that's going to be what they share. This is going to be what they have in common, that 55. Okay, to figure out the other numbers, you're going to have to subtract. All right, so let's call this math, and let's call this English. We'll say M and E for short. So this bubble or circle represents the students enrolled in math. This bubble or circle represents the students enrolled in English. Okay, it says 120 students are enrolled in math. Okay, so we've already accounted for 55, so you're going to take 120 minus 55, and you should get 65. Okay, so all the numbers in that circle need to add up to 120, and they do. 65 plus 55 is 120. Okay, and then English, it says 220 students are enrolled in English. So to figure out what goes in this moon-shaped piece, you are going to subtract. We've already accounted for 55 of those 220. So you're going to take 220 minus the 55. You should get 165 for this section. Okay. So it says of 400 college students. So we need to make sure all of the numbers in our Venn diagram add up to the total. The total should be 400. So what is 65 plus 55 plus 165? That gives you 285 when you add up all three of these. So out of 400 students, only 285 are in math and English. So you have to subtract from 400 to see the other students that are not in a math class, or they're not in an English class, okay? So you're going to take 400 minus 285, and that goes down here. That's 115. So 115 students are not in any math class. They're not in any English class. So let's do some probability. So what is the probability that the student is enrolled in mathematics? Well, this circle of the Venn diagram represents students enrolled in mathematics. So we have to add everything in that circle. 65 plus 55 is 120. And that's out of 400. So 120 out of 400 gives you 0.3 or 30%. So there's a 30% chance that the student is enrolled in mathematics. Okay. B, what is the probability that the student is enrolled in mathematics or English? Remember this symbol? You might also see that symbol. That means or. That means they can be in one or the other category or both. Okay, so you're going to basically add up all the numbers here. 65, 55, and 165. They're either in one or the other. So 65 are just taking math. 55 are taking both math and English, and then 165 are taking English. So it can be one or the other. All right, so when you add those up, you end up getting 285. And again, this is still out of 400. So when you get that decimal, that should give you 0.7125. Turn that into a percent, you have 71.25%. Okay. Part C, the student is enrolled. What is the probability that the student is enrolled in either mathematics or English, but not both? Okay, so both would be this 55 number. Okay, so you want to kind of cover that up. We're not looking at that part. We're looking at the students enrolled in math or English, but not both. So that's going to be the 65 and the 165. So add those two together. And that should give you 230. And that's still out of 400. The decimal here is 0.575. Turn that into a percent. 57.5%. Okay. And then part D, what is the probability, or find the probability that the student is not enrolled in math nor English? So they're not in either one. So they can't fit in either one of these bubbles. 65 is in this bubble, 55 is in this bubble, 165 is in the bubble, in that bubble. So the ones that are not in either of those would be this 115 number. So that's going to be 115 out of 400. And that decimal is 0.2875. Turn that into a percent. We have 28.75%. Okay. So that was the homework from last week.